Number 10 is a little longer, so stick with it till the end. There's a few different ways to solve this, so this is one of the ways. First, we want to factor our denominators. So we can see in the first term that we can pull out a GCF of 3, so we end up with W minus 1. Now we need to find our least common denominator. So what do they all need to have in them? So if you think about just the numbers, 9 and 3, well, 9 is your GCF because 3 times 3 is 9. So we can pull that and multiply by 3. So we have our least common denominator is, I'm going to say, we have a 9. And they all also need to have a W minus 1. So that is our least common denominator. So we're going to multiply everything by our least common denominator. So we're going to take this 9 and W minus 1. And we're going to think about that for just a second. Okay, we've got a 13 over 3 W minus 1. I'm going to leave some space. We have a negative 1 over W minus 1 equals, we have a W over 9. Now, what does in the 13 over 3 times W minus 1, what's missing? It needs a 3 in order to be 9 times W minus 1. So this, we're going to multiply this by a 3. And our negative 1 over W minus 1, what's that missing? It's missing a 9. In our W over 9, what is that one missing? It has a 9, it's missing a W minus 1. So now we all have a common denominator. We can eliminate our denominators because they're all common now. So now 13 times 3 is 39. Negative 1 times 9 is negative 9 equals W times W is W squared, and W times negative 1 is negative 1W. So let's look at this now like another problem because these problems get long. So here's our next, we need to solve for W. So let's go ahead and get all of our terms on one side to make it equal 0. So negative, 39 minus 9 is 30 equals W squared minus 1W. We want our W squared to be positive, so let's keep our W squared there and let's move our 30 over to the right-hand side because we want this to equal 0. So we can go ahead and move that over. We can eliminate it on one side. So we have 0 equals W squared minus 1W minus 30. Now here's where we need a factor. So we can either do the diamond or we can do Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to do the diamond in the box. So what times what gives me negative 30, and when added or subtracted give me negative 1. So that is negative 6 and a positive 5. So we have x minus 6 and x plus 5. Last step, we're solving for x. So we want to have each of those equal 0. So we have x minus 6 equals 0 and x plus 5 equals 0. So in the first one, x is going to give us a positive 6, and x is going to give us a negative 5. Negative 5. X equals negative 5. So let's look back at our problem to see if any of those are extraneous. So a 6 and a negative 5. We can have a 6 and a negative 5 in each of those denominators, and it won't equal 0. Remember, if we plug in a 6 or a negative 5 into our denominator, and it comes out as a 0, we can't have an undefined. And I just realized, you guys, I mentally changed my W's to X's. I did not mean to do that. So just so you know, if you're wondering where those X's came from, I wanted them to be X's. So let's change them to W's. They're actually W's.